AI isn't here to replace you, it's here to expose you. And right now, millions of men are being quietly sorted into two categories: the ones who leverage this moment and the ones who get left behind wondering what happened. If you think you're competing against AI, you've already lost. You're competing against the guy who figured out how to use it better than you. And that gap? It's widening faster than you think. Let me paint the picture clearly. Every tool, every breakthrough, every shift in history has done the same thing. It separated those who adapted from those who complained. The printing press didn't kill scribes because books existed. It killed them because someone else learned to use the press faster. The internet didn't destroy businesses because websites existed. It destroyed them because competitors built better ones while they watched. And AI won't make you irrelevant because it's smart. It'll make you irrelevant because someone else is using it to get 40% better at your job while you're still trying to understand what it does. This isn't speculation. We have the data. In a Harvard BCG experiment, consultants using GPT-4 delivered work rated over 40% higher quality and finished it about 25% faster than those who didn't use AI. Not slightly better, not incrementally ahead, 40%. That's the difference between thriving and surviving, between leading and following, between being the person everyone wants on their team and being the person they're quietly planning to replace. Here's the part nobody wants to hear. You're not afraid of AI. You're afraid of becoming average. And you should be, because AI just turned average into obsolete. I used to think staying relevant meant working harder. Longer hours, more hustle, more grind. And then I realized something that changed everything. The game isn't about effort anymore. It's about leverage. You can work 80 hours a week doing tasks that AI can do in 8 minutes, or you can spend 8 hours doing the one thing AI will never be able to do. Think like a human who understands humans. If this is hitting you somewhere deep, save this video. You're going to need it the next time you feel like you're falling behind. Because you're not behind. You're just playing the wrong game. Here's what's actually happening, and pay attention, because this is the part that separates the 10% from the 90%. AI didn't create a job crisis. It created a performance crisis. The problem isn't that machines are taking work. The problem is that mediocre work just became worthless. If your value is writing emails, summarizing reports, drafting basic code, making slides, doing research, or anything that can be reduced to a prompt and a response, you're not competing with AI. You're competing with everyone who learned to make AI do that work faster, cleaner, and cheaper than you ever could. Let me be brutally clear. The 90% aren't going to lose because they're lazy. They're going to lose because they're complacent. They're going to lose because they waited. They're going to lose because they treated AI like a threat instead of a tool. And by the time they realize what happened, the gap will be too wide to close. But here's the twist. And this is the part you'll want to remember. You think being replaced is the nightmare? But being out-leveraged is worse. Because when you're replaced, at least you know what happened. You see the machine doing your job and you understand. But when you're out-leveraged, you just watch someone who looks exactly like you, with the same education, same background, same starting point, suddenly accelerate past you. And you can't figure out why. They're not smarter. They're not more talented. They're not working harder. They're just playing a completely different game. And you're still trying to win the old one. That's the real threat, not the AI. The person using it better than you. So let's talk about what actually makes you irrelevant in this new world. It's not your job title. It's not your degree. It's not even your skills. It's your mindset. Specifically, 3 mental traps that will kill your relevance faster than any algorithm ever could. Trap number 1, accepting the first answer. AI is confident. It gives you responses that sound right, look right, feel right. And that confidence is dangerous. Because the moment you stop questioning the output, the moment you stop thinking critically about what you're being told, you've handed over the one thing that makes you valuable, your judgment. The 10% who stay relevant aren't the ones using AI the most. They're the ones using it the best, and that means knowing when the answer is wrong, knowing when to dig deeper, knowing when to say, this doesn't make sense and here's why. Your value isn't in getting answers anymore. It's in asking the right questions. And most people have forgotten how to do that. They've outsourced their curiosity to the algorithm. And curiosity is the only thing AI can't replicate. Trap number 2, shallow work addiction. Here's what's happening right now. AI is eliminating the busy work, the emails, the scheduling, the research, the summaries, the drafts, all of it. And for most people, that busy work was their entire day. It made them feel productive. It made them feel important. It gave them something to do. But it was never valuable. It was just necessary. And now it's not even that. The 90% are going to panic when the shallow work disappears because they built their identity around it. They'll feel useless. They'll feel exposed. And they'll be right because they never developed the one skill that actually matters: deep work. The ability to sit with a hard problem for hours without distraction. The ability to think, not just execute. The ability to create, not just respond. If you're spending your day doing things that AI can automate, you're training yourself to become obsolete. You're conditioning your brain to handle shallow work. And when that work vanishes, you'll have nothing left. Trap number 3, ignoring the human economy. Here's the irony. The more automated the world becomes, the more valuable human connection becomes. Empathy, trust, negotiation, persuasion, leadership. These aren't soft skills. They're the only skills that matter now. Because AI can write the pitch deck. It can analyze the data. It can draft the proposal. But it can't build the relationship. It can't read the room. It can't make someone believe in the vision. And yet most men are doubling down on technical skills, on hard skills, on the things that are easiest to automate. They're optimizing for the past, while the future is being built by people who understand that the hardest problems to solve are human problems, not technical ones. The 10% who stay relevant aren't trying to outcode the machine. They're mastering the one thing machines will never understand: what it feels like to be human. When was the last time you had a conversation that wasn't transactional? When was the last time you built trust without an agenda? When was the last time you made someone feel seen, not just heard? Comment one thing you value most in human connection. I'm genuinely curious what this community believes matters most. Now here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. And this is the part that will either wake you up or make you defensive. The AI era is the most meritocratic moment in history. There are no more excuses. No more hiding behind credentials, behind titles, behind seniority, behind anything. The only thing that matters is results. And AI just made results easier to achieve for anyone willing to learn. That's terrifying for the 90%. Because their advantage just disappeared. The degree doesn't matter if the kid with no degree and ChatGPT can do the work faster. The experience doesn't matter if the junior using AI tools can outperform the senior stuck in old methods. The network doesn't matter if the outsider with better leverage can deliver more value. But here's what makes it beautiful. The same force that threatens mediocrity rewards excellence. If you're actually good, if you're actually valuable, if you're actually irreplaceable, AI doesn't threaten you. It amplifies you. It takes your judgment, your creativity, your vision, and it scales it. It removes the bottleneck of execution and lets you focus on what you were always supposed to be doing, thinking at the highest level. The AI era doesn't punish talent. It punishes pretending. So let me give you something practical. Because philosophy without application is just noise. And right now you need a framework. Something you can actually use. Something that protects you from becoming part of the 90%. I call this the relevance shield. And it's built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1, own the question, not the answer. Starting today, your job is not to know things. It's to know what to ask. Spend 80% of your cognitive energy on defining the problem. What are we actually trying to solve? What's the real question under the surface question? What am I missing? The moment you can articulate a problem better than anyone else in the room, you become irreplaceable. Because AI can solve problems, but it can't tell you which problem to solve. Pillar 2, protect deep work like your life depends on it. Because it does. Use AI to eliminate everything shallow. Automate your email triage. Let it summarize your research. Let it draft your first versions. Let it handle scheduling, logistics, admin, all of it. And then take the time you just freed up and do something AI can't. Think deeply about hard problems. Block 4 hours. Turn off notifications. Sit with discomfort. Build something that requires your full brain, not just your ability to respond quickly. Deep work is where your value lives. Shallow work is where your time dies. Choose carefully. Pillar 3, build your human capital. Every single day, practice one skill that requires emotional intelligence. Have a difficult conversation. Negotiate something. Build trust with someone new. Lead without authority. Persuade someone who disagrees. Listen without planning your response. These are the skills that compound. These are the skills that age like wine, while technical skills age like milk. And these are the skills that will make you irreplaceable when everyone else is fighting to out-automate each other. When you do this, something shifts. You stop worrying about AI. You stop worrying about being replaced. You stop worrying about falling behind. Because you're no longer playing defense. You're playing offense. You're not trying to protect what you have. You're building what you need. Think about where you were 6 months ago. Think about what you were worried about. Think about what you thought mattered. And now think about where you'll be 6 months from now if you don't change anything. Same habits, same mindset, same approach. The world will move. The leverage gap will widen. And you'll be standing in the same place wondering why everyone else is accelerating. Or you could choose differently. You could be the person who saw this moment for what it is. Not a threat. An opportunity. The biggest redistribution of power, leverage, and wealth in a generation. And it's going to the people who adapt faster than the people who complain. Hold that feeling. That tension between where you are and where you could be. That's not anxiety. That's clarity. That's you realizing you've been playing small. And the cost of playing small just went up. Remember when I said you're not competing against AI? That you're competing against the person who uses it better? Here's the final piece. That person doesn't have to be someone else. That person could be you, 6 months from now, a year from now. The version of you who stopped resisting and started leveraging. The version who stopped defending the old game and started mastering the new one. Being irrelevant doesn't happen because you're not smart enough. It happens because you're not adaptable enough. And adaptability isn't a personality trait. It's a choice, a daily choice. To learn, to evolve, to let go of what used to work and embrace what works now. The 90% will keep doing what they've always done. They'll keep relying on effort over leverage, credentials over results, comfort over growth. And they'll wonder why the world moved on without them. But you don't have to be part of that. You never did. The only question is whether you're willing to be uncomfortable long enough to become undeniable. If this gave you clarity, stay close, because this is the kind of truth we build on here. Not hype, not shortcuts. Just the raw reality of what it takes to stay relevant when everything is changing. Maybe the AI era isn't about survival. Maybe it's about finally becoming who you were supposed to be all along. Without the shortcuts, without the excuses, without anything to hide behind except the value you actually create. And maybe that's not the threat. Maybe that's the gift.